So this is Dafina, and I am here with one of the founders of G.R.O.D.T, Miss Erica Richardson. Thanks so much for being here to talk about your experience being in G.R.O.D.T, being in the investment club.
Yes.
So to begin, can you tell us what G.R.O.D.T stands for?
G.R.O.D.T is an acronym for Get Rich or Die Trying.
All right, so that's a serious goal that
Mm-hmm.
you and the rest of the investment club have. So Erica is a member of the very first investment club that I helped found, and that was back in 2011.
Yes, 2011.
Long time,
Mm-hmm.
long time. So what role do you currently hold in the investment club?
In the investment club, I am currently a secretary, so I take all of our minutes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You take the minutes, you
Mm-hmm.
upload them to
Yes.
our
Dropbox.
shared drive.
Mm-hmm.
We use
Yes.
Dropbox right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you just make sure that we get all of the notes for every meeting so we can always
Every meeting.
refer back
Yes.
to things we voted on, things
Mm-hmm.
we discussed.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what made you decide to join the investment club?
Well, I didn't have a lot of information about investing. I did start at a hospital, and we had an investment, a 403B. I started in 1990, let's say six, and I've invested all my life. But I actually had somebody do more of the work for me, and I just said I don't want to do high risk stock because I don't like dangerous situations that scare me. So I just said, don't be aggressive. That's all I did. I didn't
And
know.
somebody else was taking control
Taking
and
control.
you really just didn't know what was going on.
No, I had no idea what stocks I owned. Really.
Oh, okay.
Very limited. Mm-hmm.
And so this was a way for you to learn a little something more?
Yes, and to take control of what I'm investing my money in. So you don't want to give somebody that much control over your life and your money.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what you're doing and what's happening with your money. And G.R.O.D.T gave me the opportunity to do that.
Oh, awesome. So G.R.O.D.T is, we say G.R.O.D.T, but it's G.R.O.D.T, Get Rich or Die Trying, like you said before. Okay, and so you told us a little bit about what your investing experience was prior to joining the investment club.
Yes.
And so let's talk about maybe a little shameless plug for me, but how has your experience been learning from and working with me as part of the investment club?
It's been very informative. And it's funny when you start working with somebody, you have a personal relationship with them and you develop a business side of it, which is you have to separate the two because sometimes, especially going in and you know absolutely nothing versus somebody who knows so much, it can be very interesting for them to explain to you and have you get up to their speed. It takes time. And the patience you've shown with all of us, because none of us really knew, she knew more than all of us in regards to how we spend our money and investing. So it's been challenging to learn, but it has been very helpful. I have made quite a nice bit of money on my own from learning.
Yeah, I think I remember back at that first meeting, I think I said, I need rich friends.
Yes.
And I wanted to be rich and I needed rich friends.
Yes.
And I wasn't paying for y'all to go on vacation.
Nobody wants to go on vacation alone?
Nobody wants to go on vacation alone. So how has the membership in the club affected your personal investment style? So before you said you were telling somebody else nothing high risk. So has any of that changed?
It has changed a great deal. I take care of all my investing now. Nobody does it for me. I do everything on my own.
What?
I research investment. I research some of the things that we've talked about, even things that we didn't agree on voting as an investment club. I've invested my money in because I, as an individual, thought it would be a good idea. Oh. And actually looked into other stocks we talked about, actually.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So how many stocks do you currently have in your portfolio, would you say?
I have... It's only like 4, but
that's cool.
I'm very conservative with most things, but I have the 4.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
But and a new one, actually, so it's 5.
Okay.
That's the 5th one.
We're going to talk about the new one in a little bit. Okay. So maybe that's now. Like, what aha moments have you had around investing since you've been involved in the investment club?
One of the stock pitches that we talked about several times was something called Solar City. And it had to do with solar paneling. And it was like, well, the company wasn't doing well. And then it was. And it's like, well, we as an investment club decided against it. However, it was this talk of rumblings that Tesla was going to buy Solar City, but it had been going on for a long time. And I said, I looked at Tesla stock, what it was trading at, and I said, I think I should spend a couple of $1,000s. And I went and got the stock before Tesla bought it.
So you purchased Solar City at about what price?
It was 93.
Was it?
I think it was in the 90s. It was in the 90s when I bought it.
Oh, wow. And so Solar City was an independent company, and then they got acquired by Tesla. And so Tesla's trading at what around now?
Last time I think it was like 160 something.
No, it was like 236.
Was it 236? 236. I knew it was a 36 in there. 236.
So you got in at a stock at $93 around with Solar City, and now every share of your stock is worth $200.
Yes.
And $36. I don't even know. Like, I can't do the quick math in my head.
No, I can't do the math in my head.
Like 4 times the value. Yes. Almost 3. Maybe 3 times the value of what you purchased originally.
Yes.
And if you bought just one share, that would be nice, but I'm sure you purchased probably like 10, 20, something.
I've spent a couple of thousand.
All right. I'm so excited. I'm so like heartwarmed and all right. And so learning about stock has been great. So tell us what keeps you involved and what keeps you going back to being involved in an investment club.
The thing that keeps me involved is the knowledge, because if I wasn't involved, I wouldn't have taken control of my own money and my own future. And knowledge is power, and taking control of what you need to do and learning how to do it. Because people can take control of anything. Doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. So I think that always keeps me coming back. I mean, it's also the camaraderie of a bunch of women saying we're going to come together and do something greater. And it's just been a great experience. I would always come back to it. It's a lot of work, but it's well worth it because you get the knowledge you need to help yourself.
So when you say it's a lot of work, it's not like picking cotton?
Oh, no, it's a lot of reading, because even the things we've talked about, like one of the things we had discussed before, and somebody's going to do a stock pitch on it, was medicinal marijuana. And that was one of the things I looked into, as well as the penny stocks, all these things that I had no knowledge of before. And I've looked into quite a few companies, and some are doing better than others, and some are still researching. So I'm really into research. Like, I like a lot of stock in regards to pharmaceuticals, which we haven't really purchased yet. But I've done more work because of the investment club, and reading about it and learning made me do the work on my own.
And so you mentioned pharmaceuticals, and I think it's really interesting because one of the first lessons I think that I taught was buy what you know.
Yes.
So when you're talking about pharmaceuticals, that also traces back to your career. So how has now knowing more about how to purchase stock affected how you look at everyday life and the things that you consume or the way that you work?
I pay attention to a lot of things that normally just went over my head, and I was like, but now I really listen, and I'm looking at what's happening in the world on a greater scheme, as well as like everyday things you do. You don't really think about, there's a new cancer drug coming. You're like, yeah, that's great, but who's making it? Who's talking about the research? Is it Pfizer? Who is doing this research? How can I get in on that? And you really do pay attention. I didn't pay attention to that before, even working in oncology. I never really paid attention to who was making the drugs. And some of those cancer drugs that people get are like $10,000 a pop. So when you think about looking at things differently and really paying attention, had I paid attention in the 90s, I'd probably be worth a lot more money. So it really has changed how I look at things.
But better to start late than to never start.
That is true. I have control over my own money versus somebody else.
Yeah.
Then I had no idea what stocks I owned.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing your time and your insight into just how knowing about investing and coming together and doing it in a group has really benefited you.
It has helped a lot.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Erica.
You're welcome.
All right. That's all.